Hello and welcome everybody to my first ever video regarding the obscure yet beloved, well, particularly from audio files and video files, Laserdisc media format and player. As I introduced my Pioneer Laserdisc CLD-M401 player. Whew, it's a lot to take in one breath. So, this player is special in the fact that it is a combination of a Laserdisc player and a 5-disc CD player. It manages to be a pretty decent player in its own right, even if it is low tier, because from what I heard, it's low tier, it breaks easily, but it's still a pretty cool unit. This unit in particular was manufactured in April or June of '92, I think. And it has a whole bunch of stuff that I really like on it. For example, they managed to put an audio jack on here so that you could listen to your Laserdiscs and your movies and, well, Laserdisc movies and your music with your headphones. I'm sorry if I goof up a lot. This is very unscripted. And there's also the normal functionality of, let the camera focus for a second here. Normal functionality of the play, pause, open, close, stop functionality, along with scan and skip. A dial that is a rewind and fast forward if you don't want to press the buttons. And these buttons on the top that allow you to change between discs, since it's a 5-disc CD player combo. Now, one thing that makes this unit special from other 5-disc CD players, as well as other Laserdisc players, is the way it switches discs. You see, a normal 5-disc CD player, like one that I have with my speaker, this is my old speaker, I have speakers over here, and I have the set over there next to my television, as well as its 5-disc CD player over there. This is the normal 5-disc CD player, and it switches the platter using mechanical parts to switch discs. The Pioneer 401 Laserdisc player uses a mechanical arm in order to switch Laserdisc rather than that function. So it can put it on the spindle, the same spot that the Laserdisc goes, and it'll read it that way. And it's a pretty cool function, though that's probably also the reason why they say it's easily breakable. Which is why I tend to not use the CD function all that much, but it's still a pretty cool thing. Sorry, this is all wobbly. I'm using a stand, but I tried to keep the thing loose so that I could turn it up and down now and then with ease. So, as you notice here, I am a little bit of a game collector. I want to be more of a movie collector than anything with Laserdisc, but I did for a while collect video games. And I have some systems like the Sega Saturn and the Sega Dreamcast. And this is Sonic CD for Sega CD. I used to own a Sega CD as well for my Sega Genesis. Problem was that I didn't have that many games that caught my interest in it. So I eventually sold it. And I will now demonstrate the CD functionality of this Laserdisc player. And another thing I should mention before I start the CD functionality is, well, maybe I should close shape before I show you. Is this right here. I'm gonna let the camera focus again. Surround. This is a button that allows you to turn on surround sound. And it is a really cool function. And you can see this right here. I'm going to skip this just in case, because some of these discs are game discs, and because they're game discs, even though you can listen to their audio tracks, what you need to be careful with is that you don't play track 1. If you do, you'll get a loud squeaking noise that may damage your speakers because that's the game data. Okay, I think it's safe now. And there we go. The disc I'm playing right now is a burnt disc I have with tracks from a mock-up soundtrack that Chris Sen made for the canceled Sonic Extreme, which was originally meant to be a Sega Saturn game for Sonic. Now, you might be able to hear it, but my left speaker's kind of finicky. So it has to do with the wiring, I think. I had to check that out, so it does have a staticky-like sound to it, while the right speaker's fine. Now I'm going to switch to disc 3. You hear that? And I'm going to press the skip button to make sure that I don't stay on track 1. Oh, that's Sonic R. And some of the Laserdisc functions, well, most of the Laserdisc functions still apply here. Like I can use the knob to fast forward and rewind. That's enough of the music here. Sorry about that, guys. But I have to show you the main attraction of this device. Okay, before I remove the discs, I think I could potentially put the Laserdisc and the discs here so that I could just switch to Laserdisc mode and CD mode with these buttons here or whatever, but I'm not sure about that. I'm just going to remove the discs out of the tray before I do that. But now I'm going to show you the Laserdisc functionality of this player, and the Laserdisc I'm going to show you today is Balto. This is a personal favorite of mine, one of my favorite non-animated Disney movies to come out in the 90s. And the reason I say that is because a lot of companies were trying to mimic Disney's formula when it came to animated films because of the Disney Renaissance, with films like The Little Mermaid, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Aladdin, Mulan, Tarzan, Pocahontas, The Lion King. I'm not sure if I said it the first time, but Aladdin. All those films were incredibly successful. Well, most of them were, except for maybe a few of them. And some of them, like The Rescue of Sonadar and Hunchback of Notre Dame, are pretty underrated, but that has more to do with the fact that it's not the Disney formula. And like those films, Balto, made by Steven Spielberg's Amblimation unit in England, is not like the Disney formula. It's very different from your average animated movie. It's based on a real story, loosely based, mind you. And I just really like this movie. And this is the paper sleeve that normally comes with cardboard-based Laserdisc jackets to protect the Laserdisc from damage. It also shows some conditions that you should not play your Laserdisc in, like if it's cracked or has defects, if it's splitting, if it warps, which is normally done by humidity or heat, or possibly, I'm not sure about that, but possibly even putting it not vertically, because horizontally or stacked on Laserdiscs will most likely warp. And if I can take this out, here we go. This is the actual Laserdisc, and you can see me on there. And it's pretty big, at least bigger than a DVD and CD. It's pretty much the equivalent of a record, but it's not really, well, I don't know how to put it, but it's basically like a record. And I'm not having the best time holding this, which is probably explaining some of these fingerprints on here. Hopefully fingerprints. I hope it's not laser rot. So I'm just gonna put this in here. Well, after I take the discs out, after I put the CDs out, I'm gonna put these CDs on here on the paper because I don't really have the respective cases on me at this moment. I'm gonna put this Laserdisc on here. And I'm gonna turn on the television. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure the speakers are aligned to make sure they have a decent amount of volume. Surround sound is on. And maybe I should turn off the light to make sure that the picture works. The picture looks better. Please excuse me for a second. I'm just trying to make the best quality I can. I was going to record this with the Elgato. I recently got an American Tail 5 Goes West, another film made by the Animation Unit, today. And I'm going to make a review out of that, but unlike this, I'm going to try and see if I can record that with the Elgato. I'm only doing that because I won't have to worry about copyright, because I'll probably be speaking over the footage in comparison to this, in which I'm just showing you the raw footage. So I'm gonna put it in here. And I'm gonna try to get some good picture quality up here. Okay, better. Now I'm gonna press play. So Laserdisc pretty much act like a disc-based VHS. You have the blue screen. When you fast forward, you get the VHS lines, or you kind of get a skip like that. And yeah, I'm just gonna try and fast forward through this a little. Darn speaker. I'm gonna see if I can get that fixed after this video or sometime after this video. After all, I'm still a teenager. I have homework I have to do, but I just wanted to get this out of the way before I did that. Because I haven't made a video in months, so I'm just gonna shut up and fast forward to an animated section because this film begins with a live action sequence. And I'm gonna let you enjoy. Oh, and don't mind that. I'm not sure how that happens. I think it's kind of natural when I'm fast forwarding. But yeah, I'm gonna turn it up a little.
Find out the best. And the competition was very fierce.
And I'm gonna turn down the surround a little. Because from what I noticed, the surround amps up the music but turns down the voices, so yeah, I'm gonna shut up now.
the end of the race.
Oh, no. I'm a delicate country bird. I ain't going into town.
Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
Why do I let you talk me into these things? What?
Bring that back, you thief!
So I'm going to demonstrate the skipping section 2 by skipping to another sequence. Let's see, let's go to chapter 7.
I smell herring.
They're not flying south, too.
Hey, must be muck and luck.
Ah, good news.
Uncle Boris!
Oh, no.
How sweet, Uncle Boris.
No hunting, no nicking.
He says he's going to sea. We love you, Uncle Boris. What are you talking about? Of course he's glad to see us. He loves us. Don't you?
Okay. Hey, boy chicks, let's play a game.
Yes, please, Uncle Boris.
Race into the show. 1, 2, 3, go!
Help! Help! We can't swim! Help! We're drowning! We're drowning! Save us, please!
You know how they are. Look! Relax. Hey, come on, you're okay. You're not drowning.
As point bears, you are not drowning because if you pause one moment, you will observe perhaps. Tide is out! He said what?
Oh, the shame of the polar bear who fears the water. No wonder we are shunned by our fellow bear. Woe is us! It's what he said. Very pathetic, really.
What? More whimpering between you and Bolton is like Dostoevsky novel. Right enough.
And like other Laserdisc players of its day, this isn't a late 90s model, so the unfortunate thing is that if you want to continue watching a movie, you're going to have to flip the disc. Now, this isn't entirely inconvenient, as you could probably use this for an intermission of somewhat, or something like that, because movie theaters don't have intermissions anymore. But at the same time, it is a bit of a pain, especially if you have multiple discs. Like, this is just one disc. My American Tail 5 Goes West disc is 3 sides, which means 2 discs and 3 sides to flip through. I don't want to sound lazy, but it does kind of detract from the experience. It does create us somewhat of a cinematic experience, but at the same time it also detracts from the experience as well. So I'm gonna go to another part of the movie. Just let me check through the chapter list. Oh, I'm gonna have to press play first. Side B. Okay, went to chapter 28 here. And that, my friends, is a demonstration of my Laserdisc player and one of my favorite animated movies to come during the 90s. I thank you all for watching this, and I bid you all a good day or good night or good morning or whenever you're watching this. And if you'll excuse me, I'm going to finish the rest of my day.